Hello there everybody, it is me XfreezerBunny and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're back with another tiny house build, and this time we are checking out all of the new items that came with the new Sims 4 Desert Lux kit. So this build will be featuring some of the new stuff that came for both the build and buy mode, and I gotta say I am absolutely in love with this pack, and it's great because this pack is currently available for free on Origin if you have the Sims 4 base game. It's available until October 17th, so I highly suggest you guys get it, download it for yourself, and check it out for yourself as well, because the items are hands down one of the best modern themed build and buy items that we have ever, and I'm absolutely in love with this kit. In fact, I wasn't actually planning to do a build for this kit until I got my hands on it, and the second I saw some of the build items, especially those open doors, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do a build. I'm so inspired and I'm so happy with how this build came together. Actually, I was really surprised. As you can see, I'm using these spade floor tiles just to give this build a little bit of a shape, which in the end I don't think it actually needed, because a lot of the new items really brought a new sense of style to this build. That's the best way I can describe it. I ended up calling this build the Desert Chic tiny house because I imagine this to be kind of like a weekend home somewhere in Palm Springs. It has a little bit of that retro kind of mid-century modern vibe, but also really contemporary as well. This is also just big enough to be a small home, because at some point this house ended up having exactly 100 tiles. That was not the plan at first, but I ended up managing to take it down a bit, a couple of tiles smaller. I think I ended up with 98 tiles, which isn't much of an improvement, but you know, it's still a small home, which is gonna give you perks if you have the Tiny Living expansion pack, which I did use quite a lot as well. Actually, I feel like this kit works really well with Eco Lifestyle as well as Dream Home Decorator, which are two packs that I also used quite a bit in this build, and I feel like having those packs that I just mentioned along with Spade can really ramp up your modern house building game. I feel like those packs are absolutely necessary if you want to build really realistic and really stylish modern homes. So here I wanted to incorporate a glass roof aspect, so I changed the shape of the roof a little bit just to accommodate that. And I'm also adding in some solar panels in here as well, because why not, you know? It will lessen your Sims electricity bill, which I noticed tends to be quite a lot, maybe disproportionately too much, because I have moved my Sim into a relatively large lot. It wasn't a mansion, honestly, it was a medium-sized home, but her bills was like insane. I don't know what the Sims did with the bills, but yeah, it's kind of insanely high. I'm not sure if they actually changed that. I have heard some people mention that they were gonna update that. I'm not sure if that's valid information though, but yeah, at this point pretty much the entire exterior is done, and I'm really happy. I love how that accent wall to the right there kind of just brings in a little bit of that retro vibe. This build definitely reminds me of some other builds that I've done in the past, specifically my Googie house build, which was inspired by Googie architecture. And also, I believe it was my Eco Caravan build, which is another tiny house I built when Island Living came out, and that was way before we got Tiny Living. So if you guys are interested in checking out some of my other builds, I will put links to those in the description for you guys as well. But yeah, I could not sing this pack enough praises. I absolutely loved it, and if you guys have base game, please download it. It is definitely worth your while, and I would have happily paid like how many dollars for this? Yeah, I would have happily paid money for this pack to get into my game, because it is that good. And like I said, I was heavily inspired to do this build just because I just fell in love with the items that came for this pack. Also, for this pack, they collaborated with my good friend Rosa, also known as Avalon Sims. I have collaborated with her on the channel before for my Sakura Squad collab with Harry, Simproved, and Simlissy. If you guys have not seen that, we did a little save file inspired by Japanese culture before Snowy Escape came out, so some of you guys might be interested in that as well. But as you can see, this kitchen is heavily inspired by the kitchen I did for my previous build. Like I said, that was going to be the template for all of my modern kitchens, and I'm really happy that I was able to add a little bit of a desert flair. This time we have those marble counters, which I absolutely love. They do work in a sense that your Sims can still eat on the bar stools, but they can't actually put their plates on the counter, if you guys get what I mean. But can I just say how absolutely stunning those bar stools are? They're so beautiful. And one thing that I absolutely love about this interior is that I got to use that kind of like avocado green accent wall. For those of you who don't know, green is actually my favorite color, and I'm really surprised that I don't use it that often in my builds, but I'm really happy that I got to use it because it works so well for this build. Because I noticed that there's a lot of like, you know, neutral tones, there's a lot of like earth tones, and I feel like the green really tied it all together, gave it that really nice accent. We will also be using that same wallpaper in the bedroom as well. But here you guys can see that I put one of those Joshua trees in a pot. Those Joshua trees are from Strangerville. In my opinion, if you don't like the gameplay aspect of Strangerville, I would still highly recommend it for the landscaping items. I absolutely love the plants that came with Strangerville, and those Joshua trees are some of my favorite plants to use whenever I do these desert builds. And we also owe Strangerville quite a lot because I feel like that was the pack that ultimately pushed the devs to unlock the bb.show live edit objects category, because a lot of people complained that they couldn't get the plants with the pack officially in the buy catalog. So eventually the devs decided to just unlock the bb.show live edit objects, and yeah, it's amazing. I absolutely love that. That was one of my favorite patches. It happened in 2019 if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, by the way, just really quickly about the living room. I think the couch is hands down one of the best modern couches that we have in game, and those bookshelves are so cute. They kind of remind me of like this Adobe style, not Photoshop, okay? It's like the Adobe architecture because of the rounded edges. Really like that subtle yet still modern aesthetic. And moving on to the bedroom, as you can see, there's quite a bit of wood in here. I will get rid of that wood accent wall because I didn't feel like we needed. I definitely overused this wall. This is a wall from Dine Out actually, and I feel like I've definitely overused it in my past two builds because they just work so well with some of those strip lights that came with high school years. And I did tone it down with the strip lights a bit because I feel like you don't really need it. I definitely wanted this house to have a little bit more of a stylish but laid back vibe, a little bit more chill and a little bit more effortless. You know, it is supposed to be a weekend vacation home, so it's meant to be really, you know, really relaxing. I also see this as kind of like an entertainment home as well. So there's going to be a lot of entertainment space, especially on the outside, which in my opinion is another aspect where this pack totally shines. We got a lot of outdoor furniture, and these are modern outdoor furniture and they just look so good. I'm so excited for you guys to see the landscaping because it is probably my favorite aspect of this build. Though I will say that the interior is also like one of my favorite things I've also done as well. I don't know, I just absolutely love this build. It is definitely my style. This is really close to my personal style. I know I have varying styles here on the channel. Sometimes I do something really traditional, sometimes I do modern stuff, and sometimes I do fantasy stuff. But I feel like if a client were to approach me, I would design something really similar to this, which is a little bit more on the minimalist effortless side, and also maybe something with a little bit of edge. So yeah, I'm really happy with how everything came together. And moving on to the outside, you guys would notice that I did change the lot, because the original lot that I chose for this in Strangerville was way too big. That's one thing that I wish Strangerville had, was more lots, because it's such a nice world. The landscape on that world is beautiful, but yeah, the lots are pretty limiting, and also there's a lot of, you know, zombies moving around, which unfortunately you can't do anything about unless you finish the storyline of Strangerville, which I haven't done at all. But yeah, we are here in Oasis Springs, which I guess is fitting because, like I said earlier, this was inspired by Palm Springs. And if I'm not mistaken, Oasis Springs was inspired by Palm Springs. I might be wrong. Oh, also, I put these little square concrete slabs over here on this entrance pathway. Those actually block the Sims path, so because of that the Sims couldn't actually use the front door, but I still like the aesthetic anyway, so I just kept them in. The Sims will be able to use the doors on the sides anyway, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, here I'm just adding in some rocks just to add a little bit of that harder element, and also to tie it in with the landscaping surrounding it as well. And here we go, we are using those amazing plants from Strangerville. Now these plants are a little bit differently made because they are actually located in the Show Hidden Objects category. Unlike many other neighborhood items that you would see from other packs, which can be found in the bb.show live edit objects category, these plants from Strangerville are found in the Show Hidden Objects category for some strange reason. So if you guys are looking for that, that's where you'll find them. And I'm also using quite a bit of debug items from my wedding stories because I feel like they just worked. That one tree over there to the side, as well as this one succulent. I'm gonna call it a succulent. I don't actually know what that plant is called. It's the one to the far right there next to the fireplace. I don't actually know what that plant is called. But here I'm using some of the outdoor furniture from Desert Lux, and it is so stunning. I can definitely see Palm Springs, and I absolutely loved it. Maybe not a lot of privacy because that fence barely provides any privacy, but I'd like to think that this house is somewhere in the middle of the desert, a long drive away from like the main public highway. That's what I'd like to think. But anyway, I guess that's going to be it for this build. So once again, I hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know what you think of the new pack, and don't forget to download it. It's going to be available on Origin until October 17th, so don't miss out on it. But yeah, like I said, that is going to be it for this build. You all have an awesome day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.